Okay, so for today's video I thought we might run through all the app menus of the Ecoflow Delta Pro 3. It's quite a bit in there this device can do. It's quite surprising, all the extra features compared to the lesser models. Sorry. Yeah, so here we go. And just before we do that, a quick plug to remind everybody again that if you're looking to buy any Ecoflow products here in Australia, the affiliate discount code EFKANGA10, E for Ecoflow, F for Fox, KANGA, and the number 6 will get you 6% off most items on their official web store. So yeah, okay, on to the video. So this will be pretty much just a screen capture of me playing around on the phone. I'll probably muck up during the process. I'm not going to bother redoing everything. It's just going to be the normal rough as guts thing from me. It's all about just letting you guys see what you need to see. There's no fancy editing. In fact, I was flat out even learning the editor. So we're in the app, and you see your list of all the devices that have been registered with the app. So the first thing we'll do is we'll go into the Delta Pro 3, and you should actually see I'm using my later phone this time, so you should actually see the screen taps as well, hopefully, when I touch things. I might I should have plugged a few things in. Actually, I can pause this. Hang on a sec. Alright, we keep going. I don't think I've timed out. No, it's still recording. Okay, I've plugged a few bits and pieces in so that when we go through the different menus, you can see a bit more interaction with power going in and out. So to start off with, this is your main screen, where you can turn your AC on and off, your 12 volt on and off. All the USB is just active whenever the machine is active. If we go to the input, you can see the different inputs, AC, solar, the two solar ports. One also doubles as a car cigarette lighter port. There's your high solar, there's your low solar, and your AC and out port. Alternator charger or battery port. That's actually showing the alternator charger because I've plugged one in on that port, but basically that one and that one are your extra battery ports that can also support things like the alternator charger, the dual fuel generators, the Wave air conditioner, Wave 2 air conditioner, the Glacier fridge, and so on. So we'll come back to this main screen later because I'll actually get a bit of stuff flowing and you can sort of see the graphs and things that come up. But I'll run through all the menus first. Now I just got to watch I don't hit the wrong button here and kill the screen recorder, so hopefully I won't do that. So we're in your main menu for the Delta Pro 3, and up the top, I'll just try to move this menu again without messing anything up. Up the top, you can change the name of the device. I've just left it generic, which includes your serial number and what have you. You can go into device sharing. you can invite other people to be able to use and access the device by sending an email off. Go back out of that. You can turn your beep on and off. And if I hold it closer to the device and turn it back on again, you'll hear it beep as an acknowledgement. Your timeouts is your next menu. I'll try to go through this pretty quickly because it's going to be a long video regardless. There's a lot in these menus. It's fantastic. Of course, you can pause and look at it because it's a YouTube video, so yeah. So your device, these are all pretty much set, I think, factory, except the screen. I think the screen is normally 5 minutes. I changed it for doing the demos. So you got your device timeout, your LCD timeout, AC timeout if it doesn't detect any current drawn when your inverter's running, 12 volt DC, same deal again, and your Wi-Fi Bluetooth timeout. So what that is when you shut the machine down, the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth will stay active for whatever period after you've shut the machine down, and you can actually reactivate the machine from the app, which you'll see is pretty much the last menu option. Where were we? So we've done timeouts. Screen brightness is pretty much auto or manual. It came set to manual. I did put it on auto, which I'm happy enough with. It does seem to adjust to suit the ambient lighting, but for videoing, what have you, I've just left it turned up all the way. Your time zone. So that's pretty straightforward. You set it where you live, and it automatically gets your time and adjusts your time through the internet somehow. Your inputs. So your AC charging speed. You can set that from 400 up all the way to 1500 watts. And your AC power in and out port. That's the in and out port, the custom proprietary in and out port on the back, that can be used to interface to the smart home panel 2 if and when we see that in Australia. So again, that sets your wattage allowed for both input and output on that one plug. So we'll go back. Where were we? Charging speed. I've done that one. Oh, car input. So your car input, you've got two settings. Your low PV voltage port also doubles as a cigarette lighter car input. So, you know, if you've got a few things on your cigarette lighter, or it's not all that great, depending on the car, you can actually set the maximum current that can be drawn depending on the voltage of the car. So most of your standard cars are 12 volt DC. But because that port also can handle a higher voltage, let me just check I get this right. I think it's up to 60 volts. I just got to get a torch. Sorry, 60 amps. No, what am I saying? Yeah, 60 volts. I was right the first time. So it's up to 60 volts. So should you have a 24 volt truck vehicle or even higher, I believe boats and things sometimes use 48 volts, you can once again set your maximum current that can be drawn so you don't overtax the port, and it can be varied all the way from 4 amps right up to the 20. So we'll go back out of that. Xboost allows you to start up higher current loads, things that are dead short, like kettles and things like that. Have to be a pretty massive kettle. And the info's displayed there on the screen. You don't want to leave Xboost on for sensitive electronics products like computers and stuff, because my understanding is it drops the voltage to allow for higher current draw on startup. So yeah, need ground fault circuit or RCD protection. That's quite interesting. The device actually has one built in, and it's also got an override feature if you want to run an external one. So as it says there, this feature enables the device to support GFCI, RCD breakers, or charge an EV through an AC output port. It will be disabled when the AC input port is connected to a grounded power source. Okay. Frequency 50 or 60 hertz. Of course, in Australia, you should never need 60 hertz. I don't know why that's there. Energy strategies. This gets interesting. So you can actually set your battery's discharge and charge limit, and they actually recommend for this chemistry, in this latest chemistry, these are supposedly an even newer EV grade, high quality, latest lithium phosphate cells that they use in the EV industry. They're actually suggesting 20 to 80% is a good discharge and maximum charge limit on a daily basis to get a good life cycle out of the battery. Yeah, I won't comment too much on that. There's a lot of interesting views, and you know, even if you take it 0 to 100%, I believe you're still going to get 4,000 cycles or 11 years to 80% if you cycle it once a day. So anyhow, and I'm going to change that setting because I want to show you shortly charging from different devices, showing you the graphs and things. So we'll knock that up a bit. Actually, even 5%. Even 5% is probably sufficient. You can hear the beep in the background again. Operating mode. So this is how much battery you want to reserve as to whether, so I'm just reading this again. I think this is basically how much battery you want to reserve. I was just sort of thinking, does this affect the solar input? But no. I'm used to looking at a Delta 2 Max, so this is a little bit different. So yeah, I think that's pretty much straightforward. Backup reserve is the portion of the battery reserved for use during the grid outage. We can click learn more for the fun of it. When the battery level is above the reserve level, the savings mode you selected will be executed. Upon dropping to the reserve level, the battery stops discharging and the grid takes over, so it switches back to grid. Below the reserve level, both the grid and the solar energy will charge the battery. Oh, it does. Yep, okay. And during a grid outage, the battery discharges until it reaches the discharge limit. And then your savings modes. Select the saving mode based on your electricity rate, plan type, and whether you have a solar plan. I'll bring that one up as well. You can read that one. If we go into that, that will show you all information on that. I'm not going to, this is already almost 15 minutes long, this video, so I'm not going to read all the way through this. You can have a pause of the video and have a look. From memory, the first one was more about varied electricity rates, whereas the second one, the self-powered, ideal for households with a stable rate plan who want to use only solar energy to charge. So we'll jump in that one as well. You can have a bit of a look there. Explains what happens once again there. And more. And of course you can turn that on and off like so. Or the other one like so. And we don't have any of the rates or plans or anything set up. We can go into the menus just for the fun of it. That one there. We've already done the bottom one, but we'll do it again. Right, we'll go back out of the menu. Now, where were we? Charge and discharge limits, operating mode, rates and settings. Is that what we were up to? Yes. Let's check. I'll just be sure. Hang on. Oop, wrong one. Yep. So we're up to rates and settings. That one. And that's pretty much where you can set your currency type, of course, Australian dollars, and electricity rate, flat rate, and I've just put in the what I'm getting charged. Yes, I'm not on a very good plan. Thankfully, I'm mainly solar here, and it's a flat rate for me. Okay, we go out of that as well. Scheduled tasks. So here, now I'm going to have to try to move this menu again. Hopefully I won't drop the recording out. So if we hit the plus sign, you can add a new task. And then basically the time, what you want it to affect, AC charging, solar car charging, etc., etc. If you want it to repeat, which days of the week, and then you can you add that to the automation side of things, the tasks. I don't know, what's the second one? I haven't looked at it. Let's have a look at it. Oh, that gives you the option to do a time period from set times. So it's much the same. Might jump into some of these little question marks just for the fun of it. Okay. And the other one, the 12, so much the same thing. And we'll jump out of there and out of there. That brings us to Smart Generator. Pretty dry stuff this, I know, but if someone's looking to buy one, they probably would like to see all the different things it can do and have a bit of a play. So this is the closest you can sort of get without getting hands-on, unfortunately. So you can turn on the auto start stop feature of the generator. You can turn that on or off. You can set the where it starts, your 30%. I have it set to, and at what time, at what capacity it would stop. Now, obviously, if you got solar and stuff as well, but you're having a cloudy day or something, you might want to reduce it so that the generator's only kicking up between 2 points, and the solar's trying to top up the rest. But if it can't keep up, well, and it gets down to 30 again, well, it'll obviously, in this case, run the generator, start it at 30 and stop at 57% there. So I'll put that back somewhere roughly where I had it. Yep, that's pretty much that menu. So output port memory. Oh, that's when you power it off the device, or if the device stops operating because you've depleted the battery, or when it turns back on again, it will restart the settings you left it in, basically, after it reaches a certain level. So you can just turn that on and off. Doesn't take you into a further menu. Charge discharge order. Now this is interesting. Most of the lesser products like the Delta 2 Max, not that it's not a good product, it's an excellent product, your batteries are pretty much, your extra batteries are pretty much balanced at the same capacity as the device's internal battery. Now with the Delta Pro 3, you got the choice of doing the same thing, or say you want it set up so that the battery in the Delta Pro 3 is always topped up first, is always filled up first, and then your expansion batteries are filled up second. Now, the reason why you would want to do that is, say, if you're in a situation where you need to bug out, basically. So, or you just want to borrow the main unit to go camping or something, and you don't want to take the extra batteries. Obviously, it's more important that the main battery, the main unit's got the inverter and everything in it, is the one that's fully charged. So in that case, you'd set it to priority mode. For me at the moment, I don't have any extra batteries plugged in, so yeah, it's about as far as I can go on that one. And someone did ask me, they wanted to see more on an extra battery on the device. So I'm actually looking into, there's a possibility I might be able to do that for you yet. So it won't be for a while, but we'll see what happens. Firmware update. Always make sure you update the firmware in the devices as soon as you can. You've got to charge it to 100% before you do that, to do with your battery management system calibration and what have you. But when if a firmware update comes up and it says you need to do one, it will actually give you instructions on what you should do before you proceed with the update, so don't worry too much about that. Where are we? Lots of ums and ahs as usual. Sorry, I'm not a professional when it comes to all this video stuff. Where are we? Firmware, help and feedback. We'll go into that too, just for the fun of it. There's some info there. Can tell you what things are compatible. Using an EV charger. That's something I'm hoping we'll go into at a later date. There is no extreme adapter for this in Australia yet that I'm aware of, but I would really like to drag this thing out to a charger, because there's a lot of chargers in Australia that are free still. So people travelling and camping and what have you, being able to charge one of these up from an EV charger would be a godsend. Specifications. A little bit of info there. Not too much to get excited about. Home style page. Okay, now there's two, at this stage there's two different page standards. You've got your the one that I like, that I'm using there, and the basic one, which is much the same as your lesser models, your Delta Pro 3 and what have you. Of course, there's a few extra little icons and things up the top to mate up for all the extra ports and what have you on the device, and down below too there's extra things pop up as well. I might swap that over later if I remember. The video's starting to get quite long now and I don't want to bore you to tears. So we go back. Unit of temperature, Celsius or Fahrenheit, clear data. Well, we don't want to do that. Now here's the power off one that I was talking about. You can actually remotely turn this device on and off, but you can only turn it back on while the Wi-Fi is active, obviously. So whatever you set your Wi-Fi timeout to, in my case I set it to an hour. So once that hour's passed, the only way to turn it back on again, of course, is to physically push the button on the front of it. So we won't turn it off at the moment because we're still playing with it. Now, we are going to go back to your main screen. We'll go to the input and we'll just slide that up a little bit for now. And we'll start turning a few things on. So I've plugged my little River 2 12 volt into the back of the low voltage solar port, which also doubles as your car charging, and I'm going to actually apply 12 volt to that. So the River will give it 8 amps of potential current draw, which will be up around the 80, whatever, 90, whatever, if you're really lucky, 100 watts, depending on losses and resistance and stuff. And you can see the device now charging, and it's actually showing you the input in real time. But you can also go into the graph button, and it will actually show you from which sources, it keeps a record from which sources you've actually obtained your power from on particular times of the day, the week, the month, and I'll make sure I don't bump that thing, and the year. Of course, I haven't done too much with this one yet, but you get the idea. So we'll go back again to the main screen, and we'll jump out totally, and we'll go to the alternator charger. Now, my poor old battery that I've thrown on this to do a demo is not really much good, but hopefully it'll provide a little bit of power for us to have a bit of a play. So I've just turned it on, and we'll go in and we'll set a couple of things. It's already set to 100, the minimum, 100 watts out, and the voltage, we'll drop that right down because the battery's not much good. We'll go back out, and we'll tell it to, no, make sure I push the right thing. I usually get this back to front. Right. And we'll start it working. Now, in theory, that should start putting power back into the Delta Pro 3 at 100 watts until it gets down to its 11 volts, which is not going to be long with that poor old battery. So we'll go back in here. Oh, wrong one, sorry. Where it moved on me. We'll go back in here and to the input, and you can see we've now jumped up to 198 watts input. And if you scroll down, you can also see the alternator charger is offering 100 watts in. And that's pretty much how that screen all works. You know, if I put solar panels in, etc., you'll see what's going on that screen. Now we'll go to the output, and I might just, there's no need to waste that power, so we'll drop all that off. We're finished with that, and we're now playing output wise. Oh, sorry, no, I should have shown you one more thing. We'll go back to input. So we're on 0 because I turned all the rest off, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn on the AC to the unit. I'm just feeding it from one of my Delta 2 Maxes. And you hear a bit of clicking on the unit as the relays kick in, as it's recognised as power available on the AC input, the 240 in. And you can see that's just jumped up as well. And once again down here, you can see it's showing you the input on that actual port. And you can combine all your inputs up to 7,000 watts it'll handle. So if I start turning things on again, if I turn on the Delta, the River 2, it'll jump up almost another 100 watts as it gets input into the low PV port, the car port, and so on. So yeah, turn all that off again. The battery's got plenty of charge. Okay, so now we're on the output. We'll jump across to the output, and it pretty much works the same way. If you scroll the screen up, you've got all your USB ports. It'll show you what's been drawn there, your AC out, and your 12 volt out. So if we turn on the AC, I've actually plugged in a battery charger, just charging a little Zedo battery, and it's just decided yes, it needs charging, and it's popped up and it's drawing 41 watts. So much of the same. You can jump into the graph menu and you can see your usage statistics once again. So we'll go, not much happened today, we'll go to the week and then the month and the year. Scroll down a bit more, you can actually see what's come from where, etc. So it's quite an amazing, bit of programming with this app and everything. It's certainly far more advanced than the smaller models, but of course you'd expect that for close to the flagship model. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to cover, because we've just hit the 31 minute mark, so I want to finish this video up. As usual, if anybody would like to know anything or see anything, just please let me know. I'll do the best I can. YouTube is not real great for getting messages to me. I realised I hadn't replied to someone 3 days later at one point, and I feel bad about that, but I hope you understand. I normally reply as quickly as I can otherwise. Yeah, so I think that's about it. And what we'll do now is the last thing, which is basically power it off. So if I hit power off, like so, it'll ask am I sure, and it's just gone to sleep. So everything goes blank, and you've got nothing there to see, and you can hear the fans and everything have gone off, and it's having a nice sleep. Now, if I go back into that again, because of that Wi-Fi timeout, it should come up again automatically, which it just did. I was too quick to change screens. Oh, that was my fault. Let me go back into it again. Is it that one? That one. Oh, no, I know what's going on. It takes a couple of seconds for the Wi-Fi to sync up again. So just give it a sec. Actually, that's taking longer than normal. Bear with me. Okay, so we're back up again. That pretty much should do it. Yeah, so once again, if there's anything else anyone would like to see or any questions, feel free to give me a yell, and that should take the video around the 35-minute mark. So it's good night from me. Have fun all.